This is Diaspora 5, where we spotlight bold voices and African excellence across Europe and America. Big wins, big vibes, fired every week, just for you. Across Europe and America, a vibrant story is unfolding. From the boardrooms to the dance floors, from red carpet premieres to cultural festivals, Nigerians and Africans in the diaspora are making waves. They carry stories, they carry resilience, they carry the dreams of those who came before them. Every journey begins differently, some in search of education, others for opportunity, others to build safety, stability, or simply a better life, trusting that possibility lies on the other side. Welcome to Diaspora 5. This edition is captioned Rooted Across the Ocean, and it examines the life and expectations of African women living in the diaspora. And in this particular edition, we are going to feature a woman of many parts. Her name is Fatima Usman. Fatima Usman lives in Finland, and she is the chairperson or president of the organization known as AFAES. AFAES stands for African and African European Association of Finland. She's going to tell us much about what she does, as a person, and also as an active African woman living in Finland. What has been her activities, and what kind of issues that she faces or takes care of, and so many other things. So we are looking forward for quite an interesting, session with Fatima Usman, otherwise known as Mama Africa. As an African woman in the diaspora, how do you describe your cultural identity?
Oh, I love that question. How will I describe my cultural identity as an African? Well, I will first of all say, as an African in Finland, I think my identity is who I am. And that's one of the reasons why I dressed African from January to December is actually showing my identity and who I am and my culture. That's what defines me as an African woman. So no matter how cold it is, no matter what season we are in Finland, I'm always going to be an African woman, and I'm always going to represent, just like the way you see me. This is my dressing every day.
Living far away from home in the diaspora comes with a lot of baggage. You feel homesick and nostalgia and so on and so forth. How do you manage to, make yourself at home, far away from home?
I love that. Our food, which is very rich, the culture, the stories, because everything about African culture tells you a story. And that's one of the things I do in school. Also, as an actress, that's one of the things I do. I use the story, the African culture, to tell who we are. I don't want like the second and third and fourth generation to just think about Africa as what they see in TV, because I think Africa itself, the whole continent, is very rich, and that is what I want the children to learn. So through storytelling, telling them the different animals about Africa, our different culture, our clothes, our food, how the kind of song we sing. Most of our songs have meaning, and that way I'm able to motivate like the children to be able to understand what our culture is all about, and not just what they see on TV or what they see on the internet. But also doing that, having that workshop with them, showing them how to tell stories using all the African animals like lion, just like elephants, all the animals that we have in Africa. That's what I use in telling them stories. And they are actually being part of that story and also acting as those animals and understanding how rich our culture is.
What are the things that inspired you to be this very active in the African diaspora community in Finland? I mean, what is it that...
I think as an African woman, it's a must to get involved in our community, because that's the only way I can also integrate my community to be strong, also to know their rights. This is not Africa, this is Finland. I'm living in Europe, in Finland. And for those new Africans who are coming, I need to educate them on how to integrate into the society and how to also tap into the educational system, as well as to be active in different NGOs, for example, whereby they can organize, symposium, workshops, and also cultural events.
What does the community mean to you within the African diaspora context?
Well, without a community, I'm nobody. If I'm not able to make a difference in my community, then I should as well go back to where I come from. Community gives you a sense of belonging. Without a community, you can't survive in terms of difficulties, whatever situation you are going through. When you belong to a community, you will surely get help. And you can also be in a position to help someone. We all need help all the time.
Is there any kind of activity you carry out among the African women here in Finland to help each other?
I think African women in the diaspora are doing great, because we have a lot of we have joint seminars together whereby we travel. I will give example with the Scandinavia. The African women in Finland travel to Sweden to have joint workshop, joint cultural programs. For example, we are working towards the Africa Week next year, which is going to take place on the 18th to the 25th of May next year, and we are planning the whole African African activities and then we are having partners from different Scandinavian countries. So we talk about Norway, Sweden, and Denmark. And also we're also inviting other African women from other European countries. But in that case, not just African women, even African men are being invited as well. And we try to put a big program. So whatever they want to showcase on that week, be it literature, movie, theater, cultural programs, we all do that in the same week. And we put all our effort together. And that's what makes us women. That's what makes us African women. That's what makes us different from other women.
In what ways do you think African women in the diaspora can influence development back home, their countries of origin?
Well, back home. Well, I think there are a lot of programs and projects that are being implemented in different parts of Africa where women are coming together to map out what are the things that they can help back home. When you talk about the girl child education, it's something that a lot of women, we are working together with them and they are supporting, not just like different parts of Africa. You talk about Nigeria, Ghana, Ethiopia, Kenya. These are countries that have been supporting the girl child education. And that's something that most of the African women are very passionate about. And we are also supporting single mothers and widows because it's very important. But we educate them through education. Because as you know, Finland is one of the most, we have one of the best education systems. And we are also tapping into that education and taking it back home. You know, we talk about technology as well. We are also training those women how to use like what is available. Well, ChatGPT, for example, is something that most people use. You know, and we are also training them in different apps that they can use to help themselves. It doesn't matter wherever they are in any part of Africa.
Can you share with us some community projects you and your organization has been carrying out?
Here in Finland?
Yes.
Well, in Finland, I can't even count because there are so many. There are so many, like empowering women, because we empower ourselves as well, African women in general. Finland is just, it's a very small country. We are not even up to 6 million. So when you think about the role that the African women are playing, now I'm not just talking about the West African women, I'm talking about the women in general, including Somalian women. We do a lot of initiative with them that support women, support men. Yes, you'll be surprised. We have also initiative for fathers to be active, to know their responsibilities and their role, and not just to be a father, but how involved are you in your child's life? That's something also we encourage men to take seriously, because when you have children, if they are boys or they are girls, they need you. So you need to have quality time that you spend with your children as well, and that's one of the initiatives that I'm very much passionate about. You know, for the men for us to be able to empower the men, for them to spend time with their children. You know, not just the football as usual. You have to give your kids time and to know what's happening in their life. That's part of being part of their life. And when somebody asks you, how is your child doing? You'll be able to tell because you are part of that child's life. You are involved in the child's homework. You are involved in the sport activities. You are involved in going out with your family. Those are things that are also very important in our culture, and it's something that we do not practice back home very well, but we make sure that both men and women are involved in the lives of their children.
Another question, how do you use your voice or platform to challenge stereotyping and the discrimination of people of African descent in the diaspora?
Oh, that's a very good question, because now when you see what people, show in social media about African identity, most of it are very negative, and that's something that I said, if you can't really change the perspective of how the way people think, then you have to be involved in everything. Sometimes you have to go outside your comfort zone and involved in different NGO that are run by European women, because I believe that for you to make any change in a country like Finland, you have to be part of some legislation. And how do you make this legislation? Is to make your voice hear. People need to hear your voice. What are the challenges that is going on in your community? As a black woman, racism is very important to me. But still, we are still talking about racism. I remember when we started this Youth Against Racism, that was over 10 years ago. Our children were like, why are they being discriminated in society? I said, well, you can do something about it. Make a campaign. And that campaign was Youth Against Racism. What youth are we talking about? The African youth against racism. But when we talk about the first, second, third generation, they don't know the difference between black and white. They just know that they are youths. And then when you hear somebody calling them a certain word they are not supposed to use on them, they get confused. I said, make a campaign to create awareness why we should be against anything called racism. because we are one. If your hand cuts, the color of the blood that will come out of your hand will be red. The same color will come out of my hand. It will still be red. It won't be white. It won't be black, but it's red. And that campaign made a very big difference. We got a lot of African youths involved, both boys and girls, because it affects all of them. If you don't speak now, you will never have the voice to speak. And that was a campaign that went so far. And I'm very proud of that project.
What message do you have for young diasporan African women who go through some kind of identity crisis?
Well, the message that I always give to young African women, especially if they start having their own children and they're involved in school, I said get involved with anything that your child is doing. Get involved, because that's the only way you will know. Not just, you can't just think that, okay, my child is going to school and my child is coming back. But getting involved in the parents association, in the school, that's one way you can know exactly what your child is doing, and that's one way you can also contribute in your child's school. And then the community where you live, and then you get involved in your community, you get involved in different organizations, so that your voice will be spread wide. And not just in the city you live, get involved in other cities as well. And that's what we do. I get involved in most of the organizations in different cities. So anything that has to do with African women, I'm always being called. And my voice counts a lot. I don't want anybody to decide my future. Also get involved in the political system in this country, because that's where the decision is made. Now, as I speak to you, we have a lot of women, African women, who are involved in different legislation groups, just because they got involved into politics. Finland is a country that gives you that voice. You have the right, you have the power, and use your vote so that your vote will count. Don't let anybody decide your future for you. You make a difference by using your voice and that one vote.
Do you think that African women are making waves in the diaspora?
Yes, in terms of education, business, we have most of the PhD holders we have today in Finland are African women. If you look at the different institutions in Finland, different university, applied sciences, they are mostly African women. Even in business, they are African women. In the NGO world, they are African women. In fact, African women are very proud of them. And I have learned also to be able to, understand African women from different African nations, because they are different and they are all highly educated in this country. This is a country that gives you opportunity if you are not lazy. You can make a way for yourself and for your community. But I advise every woman that has not been involved in our community to start being involved in our community. Because we all need to empower the youth. We want them to have mentors as women, as African women. I love it when I see young people saying, oh, who is your mentor? Oh, then they mention the names of the African women. That makes me feel good, that something is going on with the next generation as well.
On a more lighter note, you were called Mama Africa. How did that come about? And don't you think it is a big burden to be Mama Africa? How do you deal with that?
It actually gives me nothing but humility, because I'm somebody that wherever I am, I want to practice my culture. There's no negotiation. If I see a child doing something, even if the mother is not correcting the child, I will do it, because I feel it's my responsibility. The proverb that says it takes a whole village to raise a child. That's a proverb that we should take wherever we go in this world. We shouldn't think that those things can be practiced only in Africa. I felt like to be able to raise a child, to help somebody to raise a child. Even when I'm teaching in different schools, which you know the system of education in Finland is very different. The first thing I do with children is say, I introduce myself as Mama Africa, because a child is not supposed to call his teacher by name, but in Finland, children do call their teachers by name. And that is the challenge for me. I'm like, how can children be calling the teachers by name? So I've introduced myself as Mama Africa. And you know, the first impression you see with the kids, I've been laugh. Oh, Africa, we can start Africa, you know. And I love that you have broken the ice. Then you are the same, you are on the same page with the children. And you know, I mean, that's how it goes on. And then all my friends, you know, started calling me Mama Africa, like all the kids. So wherever I go, I try to correct children. Even in African parties, I say, you can't call your mother by name. You can't call someone that is older than you by name. Call her auntie. I start introducing all those things that I know how we were being taught back home. Why should they change? Somebody has to continue with them. So even if I see most of my white students on the street, you know, now they are all like grown-ups. They even have their own family. Mama Africa, and I'm wondering, like, where do I know this child, one of those children that I actually taught in school? So you see, things stays in their own subconscious mind. And they remember, because they know that what you have taught them is the right thing. So the name just stays and everybody just calls me, and I just love it.
Fantastic. It's been quite gratifying talking with you. I wish we can go on and on.
Thank you
very much.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Thank you too.
Well, that has been Fatima Usman, our special guest in this maiden edition of Diaspora File, with the caption Rooted Across the Ocean, which examines the issue of the African women living in the diaspora, what their life is all about, how they manage their life, their profession, the family, and so many other things. So under this particular caption, we're going to bring you more guests from diverse professions and you know, people with diverse experiences, so that they can, you know, talk to us and let us know exactly how they cope with life, you know, in the diaspora. We're going to deal with the issues of professional work, entrepreneurship, and raising the children, family life, and also how they connect with all the burdens that they bear back home, who deal with different aspects of life of the African woman, or the life of African man, and the life of young Africans in the diaspora. That way we can understand what they're going through, their philosophy of life, and the kind of issues they're dealing with, and what kind of projects they are bringing back home, and what do they think about the situation back home in their home countries, but economic and political issues, and so on and so forth. So having said that, I want to thank you for being with us, and please stay tuned for more. I am Ike Udechime. This is Diaspora 5, where we spotlight bold voices and African excellence across Europe and America. Big wins, big vibes, fired every week, just for you. Across Europe and America, a vibrant story is unfolding. From the boardrooms to the dance floors, from red carpet premieres to cultural festivals, Nigerians and Africans in the diaspora are making waves.
I am Ike Udechune. Join me as we highlight the voices and victories of Africans living in the diaspora.
Welcome to Diaspora 5, where home meets the world.